All right, for all the young hustlers out there, I'm gonna be telling you guys about all the sacrifices I made in my early 20s to be able to buy my first home here in Vancouver at the age of 22, turning 23. I'm that 𝐎𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐒. I talk about Canadian real estate in my local market of Abbotsford and the Fraser Valley. If you guys get any value or entertainment from my videos, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you want to chat one-on-one, I got a link down in my description that goes right into my Calendly. You can click on that and book yourself into my calendar. So there's probably a 22-year-old watching this video thinking, you know, how the hell is that even possible? I'm 22 and I don't have very much right now. So I think I saved up about, I think it was $57,000 was my initial down payment, and that was 20% at the time. And, you know, at this point in my life, I was a plumber. I didn't actually enjoy that job, but the great thing about it is that it allowed me to work pretty much as many hours as I wanted to, and I took full advantage of that. There's so much demand for trades out there these days, especially plumbers, that, you know, and like HVAC techs and stuff like that, that I could pretty much work 24 hours a day if I wanted to. And for basically 3 years, that's pretty much what I did. Not exactly, but, you know, pretty well close to it. I'd work minimum 50 hours a week. Most of the time it's closer to 60, sometimes as high as like 85. I was on call pretty much forever. My girlfriend and my friends hated it because they would plan something. I would show up within 5 minutes of being there. I had to put on my uniform and drive downtown to deal with a plugged sewer line or something like that. And it was like that for years. My friends and family watched me do this. And then on top of that, I was doing night shifts pretty much once a week where it would completely destroy my sleep schedule, but it was worth it because I was getting paid overtime for the entire night. And on top of this, I would do side work as well. So I think back when I was 21 or 22, I made $90,000 one year, and I was making about 26 bucks an hour. So you do the math on that. I think if you're making 26 bucks an hour at a normal amount of hours worked, you're supposed to make around like 52,000 or something like that. I made 90,000, and that's not even including the cash that I was getting from my side work, which was probably about $10,000 cash as well. So basically I worked a lot. Now at this time, I wasn't living at home with my parents. My parents moved to Arizona when I was 21, but I did move in with my girlfriend and her dad, and we rented a bedroom from him for 600 bucks a month. Now I know that's really cheap, and I am very thankful that we had the opportunity to do that, and very thankful and grateful that we were able to do that. But I'm still sure most people probably wouldn't want to live in a bedroom with their girlfriend and their dad for 2 years. Basically, they'd probably just pay the extra 200 bucks a month and then rent a basement suite. But I didn't do that. I stuck it out. I stayed there, and this was a massive bonus for me because pretty much all the money that I was making was going right into my bank at this point. Like the bulk of that $57,000 down payment I saved up in, you know, those 2 years living there. Well, I guess my parents must have left to Arizona when I was 20. The math ain't mathing. Either way, in 2 years living with my girlfriend's dad, I saved up $57,000. The next sacrifice I made was my spending habits. I was extremely frugal. Skip the dishes hadn't even been invented yet. This was like 2015, 2016. And I never bought any new clothes, and if I did, it was from H&M because H&M had like $12 t-shirts, quite literally the cheapest clothes you could possibly buy. And I could not stand the idea of traveling. At this time, all my friends were going on 1 year backpacking trips to Thailand and Europe and all this stuff, and I just could not stand the idea of, like, if I were to go away for a week, it would cost me $2,000 to $3,000 to go away for that week. But not only that, I would probably lose about $2,500 after tax income during that week as well. So pay $3,000 to go on vacation, another $2,500 that I lost from not working. That's $5,500 and I was saving around 2,000 bucks a month at this time. So that was nearly 3 months of working my ass off to recoup the 1 week that I went on vacation. So the math just didn't make sense for me. I was suffering so much to enjoy 1 week when I looked at it from that standpoint. People say travel while you're young all the time. I completely disagree. Not necessarily disagree, but I would just say travel while you're young after you've quit your 9 to 5 hourly or salaried job and your income is tied to your performance. That way, it doesn't hurt as much when you go on vacation. So since 2015, I've gone on one real vacation to Mexico for 1 week in 2019. And other than that, any vacation I've had has been, 2 days camping here, 2 days going to some concert there or whatever. But I haven't really gone on any real vacation. Now I'm 28 years old and now I'm in a spot where I can finally go on vacation. So you can have your cake and eat it too. Just get the hard shit out of the way first. So I lived super frugal. I never traveled. And the last sacrifice that I made, and this one could be the most important one, was that I was pre-approved up to $350,000, I think. But the condo I bought was $275,000. It was a 1983, 950 square feet, fully renovated with no in-suite laundry, 2-bedroom condo in Abbotsford. I could have maxed out my approval, bought a place in Surrey, which is where I grew up, which is where everybody I knew lived, all my friends, all my family, everything I knew was there. I had never even really gone to Abbotsford, but I decided to not max out my approval and move to Abbotsford and buy a $275,000 condo. That way I could still save up money after paying all my monthly expenses. That extra money that I wasn't spending on the mortgage went back into my bank account, and I was actually able to buy my second property just a year later in Windsor, Ontario, which was a $150,000 detached home. I hear some of you guys in my comments all the time that will whine and complain if I even pitch the idea that you should move away from Vancouver to get into your first home and just commute for a few years. I'll mention New West or Coquitlam and people are like, oh, I shouldn't have to move. I should blah, blah, blah. This should be affordable and I should be able to get free housing in Yaletown. It's a sacrifice. Do it for 3 to 5 years, build equity, move back. That's my opinion. You do what you gotta do to get into the market. Your first house is not gonna be your forever home. The point of the first house is to build equity, move up the ladder into the second home. I didn't want to move to Abbotsford either. Now that I'm here, I actually like it though, but I didn't want to move here either. Anyway, these are the sacrifices that I made. Now, if I were to do it all over again, what I would do differently, instead of working as hard as what I did and living frugally and doing all these things that I did, I would have invested in coaching as soon as possible, because knowledge compounds forever. Once you learn something, you have that knowledge for the rest of your life, regardless of what the economy is doing. Money is fluid. It comes and goes, markets crash, whatever happens, you can lose money, you can spend money. Knowledge is there regardless of what happens, and every time you learn something, it's compounding on the last thing that you learned. So I would have invested in myself right away to just try to increase my income as fast as possible, and then once I had a lot of disposable income, then I would have bought my first place. And I would have got into sales much sooner. I would have became a realtor or a mortgage broker or a car salesman or an insurance agent or any sales job. That's what I would recommend doing. I'd recommend investing in yourself and getting into a job that isn't where your money, the amount of money you make isn't tied to the amount of hours you work, as soon as possible. And this is going to make it easier to go traveling and do the things that you want to do, because you can't actually calculate the amount of money you're losing as you're traveling. Because for me, that was super painful, just calculating how long do I have to work to make back the money that I would have had I just worked this week. But anyways, I hope this helps somebody. I know it's just my story, but it can be done, right? Buying a home in Vancouver, it can be done. You either got to hustle really hard, the route that I went, or get into a sales job as soon as possible and invest in yourself and just become better as soon as you possibly can to build the skills to be able to sell more of whatever you're trying to sell to get disposable income and buy that first place. If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'm that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.